It's 2 a.m. The city is asleep. Streetlights glow softly against empty roads. A distant car passes, then silence returns. The world feels paused, like everything is holding its breath. And in the middle of that silence, someone is still awake. Their phone screen is dark. No new notifications. No "where are you?" text. No missed calls. No group chat buzzing with plans for tomorrow. Just a quiet room, a dim light, and their thoughts. If this feels familiar, if you have few or even no friends, maybe you're not unlucky. Maybe you're not socially broken. Maybe you're rare. From childhood, we're taught that having a lot of friends equals success. In school, the popular kid surrounded by people is seen as confident. In college, the one with the big friend group is admired. Social media only amplified this idea. Followers, likes, comments, it all turned friendship into a numbers game. But not everyone is built for the crowd. Some people get tired of surface-level conversations. They don't enjoy gossip. They don't find constant small talk exciting. Their minds automatically dig deeper. Why did that person say that? What are they really feeling? Is this connection genuine or just convenient? These people aren't overthinkers. They are deep thinkers. They notice tone shifts, body language, micro-expressions, the energy in a room. They analyze not just words, but intentions. And because of that, they can't connect with just anyone. When you see depth, superficial connections start to feel exhausting. Maybe you've experienced this before. You're at a gathering, music is loud, everyone is laughing. People are talking over each other, taking selfies, posting stories. It looks fun, it looks alive, but inside you feel disconnected, not superior, not judgmental, just out of place. While others are caught up in the noise, you're observing, thinking, feeling everything more intensely than you show. Some might call you boring, quiet, antisocial, but the truth, you simply outgrew shallow interactions. And then there's something else, your standards. You don't hand out the word friend easily. For you, trust isn't casual. It's earned. You don't open up about your dreams, your fears, your vulnerabilities unless someone has proven consistency, honesty, and emotional maturity. If someone shows fake behavior or hidden motives, you don't create drama. You don't start fights. You simply step back. Quietly, people may misunderstand that distance. They might label you arrogant, cold, too reserved. But what they don't see is that you're protecting your energy. Being selective can feel lonely sometimes. When weekends pass without plans, when your phone stays silent, when your birthday comes and only 1 or 2 genuine messages arrive. But loneliness doesn't automatically mean something is wrong with you. Sometimes it means you refuse to settle. You refuse to keep people around just to avoid being alone. You refuse to laugh at jokes that don't resonate. You refuse to shrink your depth to fit into a shallow space. And then there's your emotional independence, one of the rarest traits of all. You've learned not to depend on others for your happiness. You can sit in your room alone, listening to music, and actually enjoy it. You can take long walks with just your thoughts for company. You can plan your future without needing constant validation from a group chat. You are comfortable with yourself, and that scares people, because many individuals cannot tolerate their own silence. They need constant distraction, noise, messages, attention, movement. The moment things get quiet, discomfort rises. But you turn silence into strength. There's a difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is when you're surrounded by people, yet feel unseen. When you're smiling on the outside, but empty inside. Solitude is when you're physically alone, but mentally expanding. And those who choose growth often walk alone for a while. Almost every deep creator, thinker, and visionary in history had seasons of isolation. Their most powerful ideas were born in quiet rooms, not in crowded spaces, not in endless conversations, but in silence. Maybe that's where you are right now. Maybe your circle is small because your vision is large. Maybe you don't connect easily because you crave soul, level alignment, not surface compatibility. Maybe you have few friends because you invest your energy intentionally, not impulsively. Yes, sometimes it hurts. Sometimes you wish someone would understand you without explanation. Sometimes comparison creeps in when you see group photos, parties, celebrations. But remember, not every smile in a photo is real. Not every crowd equals connection. A person can feel alone in a room full of people, and another person can feel complete with just one true connection. If you have one real friend, you're fortunate. If you currently have none, that doesn't mean you're lacking. It might mean you're still filtering. It might mean your standards are high. It might mean your mind is deep. It might mean your emotional foundation is strong. Rare things are not common, and maybe, just maybe, you are one of them. Morning light slowly enters the room. Somewhere phones are buzzing with good morning texts. Group chats are already active. Plans are being made. Memes are being shared. Drama from last night is still being discussed. And then there's you. You wake up, check your phone, and there's barely anything there. Maybe one notification, maybe none. For a second, a quiet thought appears. Is something wrong with me? But what if the silence isn't a flaw? What if it's focus? If you have few or no friends, there's a strong chance you're wired differently. While others are investing hours into social maintenance, you're investing energy somewhere else. You think about your goals, your future, your next move. While many people are distracted by who unfollowed who, you're thinking about who you're becoming. This is where another rare trait reveals itself: intense focus on purpose. You understand something most people learn too late. Time is limited. Energy is limited. Attention is limited. Every relationship requires maintenance, texting, calling, showing up, explaining, updating. And you are careful about where you spend that currency. It's not that you don't value connection. It's that you value direction more. You would rather spend 3 hours learning a skill than 3 hours gossiping. You would rather build quietly than talk loudly. You would rather improve your future than impress the present. To some, that looks boring. To others, it looks antisocial. But to you, it feels aligned. There's a certain power in moving silently, when your progress isn't constantly announced, when your goals aren't debated in group chats, when your dreams aren't exposed to opinions that don't understand them. Isolation for you becomes a shield and sometimes even a weapon. When there's less noise, your mind becomes sharper. When there are fewer distractions, your discipline grows stronger. When you're not trying to fit into every circle, you finally have the freedom to create your own path. History is full of individuals who did their deepest work alone, not because they hated people, but because they understood something powerful. Clarity requires space, and space often requires distance. Then there's another trait you may not even realize you have. You see through people, not in a cynical way, not in a judgmental way, but in an observant way. You notice inconsistencies. You sense when someone's energy shifts. You feel when words don't match actions. While others get easily attached, you take your time. While others ignore red flags, you analyze them. While others confuse attention for care, you look for sincerity. Because of this, you don't blend easily into every group. You can't laugh at jokes that degrade others. You can't pretend to admire fake confidence. You can't ignore subtle manipulation just to belong, and that makes you different. People might say you're too serious, you overanalyze, you think too much, but in reality, you simply refuse to ignore what you clearly see. Being perceptive is both a gift and a burden. It protects you from toxic dynamics, but it can also reduce your circle dramatically. Because once you truly see someone's intentions, it's hard to unsee them. So you choose quality over quantity. You would rather have one person who understands your silence than 10 who only enjoy your noise. You would rather have one conversation that changes your perspective than 20 that just fill time. And sometimes, yes, this path feels heavy. There are nights when you wish connection came easier. There are moments when you wonder what it would be like to belong effortlessly, to fit into a group without filtering your thoughts, to be surrounded without feeling different. But then you remember something important. Not everyone is meant to blend in. Some people are meant to stand apart, not for attention, but for alignment. If you've spent years feeling slightly disconnected from the mainstream, if you've often felt like you're observing life rather than fully participating in the noise, maybe that's not isolation. Maybe that's awareness. You're not chasing validation. You're chasing evolution. You're not afraid of being alone. You're afraid of being stagnant. And that difference changes everything. The world often rewards loud personalities and visible popularity. But real strength is usually quiet. Real growth is usually unseen. Real transformation often happens behind closed doors without applause. If your circle is small right now, that doesn't mean your future will be. It simply means you're selective about who gets access to your world. And when the right people arrive, those who value depth, honesty, purpose, you'll recognize them instantly, because rare recognizes rare. Until then, your solitude is not punishment. It's preparation. Preparation for stronger connections. Preparation for bigger responsibilities. Preparation for a life built intentionally, not impulsively. So if you wake up tomorrow and your phone is still quiet, don't let that silence define your worth. Let your discipline define it. Let your clarity define it. Let your standards define it. Having few or no friends doesn't automatically mean you lack social value. Sometimes it means you're building something most people can't see yet. And sometimes it means you are becoming someone most people will only understand later.